Hi everybody, this is Robert with Deep Thought Cycle Blogs, and this is Solaris and Bobby and Apollo, and I'm going to do an off the bike unboxing video of our new Elecom Trackball. And this is a trackball, the DFT, and actually I have two of these by mistake.
Yeah.
I only wanted to buy one.
Yeah, you want to buy one.
I know that you just saw that I had the Elecom Huge, so why would I get the DFT? Well, let me set this down and open up the box real quick. Okay, the reason why I got two is because I ordered one and then it said on WeChat that they did not send it to me, so I still want to order, and I said yeah, and then so they took the money from two, and I got two of them, and I really only wanted to get one, but I don't know how to take it apart. I don't know how to send it back, in China, so I'm stuck with two. Here you go, Paula. Paula likes the... Oh, Paula, here you go, Paula. Paula, here's a donut. For Paula. This one's for you, Paula. Here's a hot dog, too. Okay, and so I got two of these, and I only wanted to get one, and this is the Elecom DEFT, and the reason why I got this one is here's my Huge right here that I use a lot, and I like it a lot. You can check out the review and extended review, and here is the one that I bought, and when I wanted to get two, here's another one that we have here, and here is the Control Tech stem. Stay tuned, we're going to do a review on this here. 60 millimeters. Here is Bobby's mouse, and we're going to talk about Bobby's mouse a little bit. This is the I don't know which mouse it is. It's the one that lasts a long time, the Logitech one. I forget the model, but Bobby really liked this mouse a lot.
I was stuck with it though.
Here is the other mouse, the MX Anywhere. So there's a reason why I got this one, and I'm going to tell you why. Hold on one second. I didn't really want to get two of these, so we've changed locations here, back to my home here, and so I didn't want to get two of these, but they made a mistake, and it was impossible to back, and we have my Huge here, and my old MX Anywhere 2 that I use a lot, and I love the scroll bar, I love the portability of this to walk around and teach, but the problem is I can't walk around in the classroom and hold this Elecom Huge trackball like I do the MX Anywhere trackball, and I can't take this out on the subway, and in some situations this was better. I could walk around the class and the reception is great, so I could go to the back of the classroom on this. So, and my son was using this for a mouse, so I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and get one of these and give it to my son to use so I could take the other one to work, or bring this to work. And I'm going to try to bring this to work with me and teach with it, but a big issue is, at least on the Huge here, is the reception is not that great on this Huge mouse. It's not that great. Juan, can you turn on that light over there for me, please? So, like especially when the batteries are being used after a couple times, and you know, on the bottom there's a low and a high for how much battery signal it will use, and it uses the battery faster, obviously, when you're on the high. So, anyways, let's take a look at this here. This is from Japan, and it's a DFT and 2.4 gigahertz. Looks like it uses the same receiver, unfortunately, which I have yet to test in the classroom to see if I could walk to the back yet. And I heard that there's a difference between these models. This is the M-DT1DRBK. Now, this you can see has all omni-micron switches, Miron switches that do the billion clicks, and that's a huge thing, because if anybody of you out there watching has ever had these Logitech mice, you will know that I've every year I bought these little ones, and the clicking wears out over time on the motherboards, either side switch or the top switches. They will always wear out on the Logitechs, and of course that's when you have to buy another one, but hopefully the mirror on these Elecom's will be better. So I'm going to open up the box here, and we have a nice Japanese display, and talks about it a little bit, and you can see they advertise the Miron switches, which are like really above the Logitechs, and it comes with a nice case here, right? So the way I buy it in China here, if something's wrong with it, you don't get a warranty. I don't get a warranty service. There's nowhere close to where I live that has a service center for a Miron. So there's not. If it's bad, I live with it. I lose the money, right? I paid about 300 yen for this mouse, and I paid 400 yen for the huge. And inside the box, they have the Japanese manual, which I'll tell you how to use it. There's not much to it. For the software side of things, I hear that there's a little bit better Linux support on this than on the huge, and I have yet to test that theory out because I haven't used it yet. My son's using one of them on his computer, and I'm going to take out the inner. I would suggest that you not use these batteries after it's done. Get a nice rechargeable, strong battery, because these things do eat batteries pretty quick, right? Give me 1 second here. This does have the same cheap, light feeling that the huge has. It feels kind of light, like it's missing weight, especially when you hold the MX Anywhere 2 up. But as I said before on the huge, when you have it on the table, it's no big deal. It's not as noticeable as when you're holding your hand. So I'm going to put their their battery in here 1 second here. And it's got a USB holder inside the palm. Hold on a second. So here is the Deft next to the huge, next to the MX Anywhere 2, next to the Marathon. Now, of course, in a limited space situation, trackball is much better. Now I'm going to tell you, when you touch this ball, it moves much, much lighter. And if I'm sitting here working, number one, it's important to look at the DPI. This only has 2 DPI selections, whereas the Elecom Huge has 3. The ultra fast one is the red one, and then the blue one, if you slide it forward with your thumb in front of the scroll bar, is the lower resolution. And I can tell you that it is much lighter, compared to the huge. The huge, you feel a lot more resistance in the huge. Tons more resistance. I'd say about a magnitude of maybe 5 or 6 times, 7 times more resistance in this one. This one you could sit here and barely touch with your index finger or your middle finger or even your ring finger or your pinky finger. All your 4 fingers you could use to operate this mouse. I can tell you that the scroll bar on this Deft feels a little bit resistance. It's smaller. Actually, it's a lot more resistance than this one here. When I'm turning it, you need more force to turn the scroll wheel on the Deft than you do the huge. But sometimes on the huge, the button gets stuck there. And it's not always in this really lightly clutch mode. I've had that issue a little bit with the huge here. I think the mouse trackballs are like fidget spinners, actually, to tell you the truth. But as you look at the scroll wheel on the mouse on the Logitech, it's just, that is what the Logitech does best. It's got that free scroll, which you do not have on the Deft. And that's unfortunate. But I could, I'm going to use this, and right now I'm not using the wrist pad up above the table here, but I do appreciate the wrist pad on the Huge a lot. I think it's great. But in this situation with my leg on my hand on my leg, which is not how I normally work, this is okay too. It's very nimble. The bearings inside here, it feels a little bit scratchy, like a little bit, but you know what? That's also how this Huge felt until you broke it in, and after you clean the bearings, they feel a little bit more scratchy, like they do right now, brand new from the factory. But that's okay. I hear people talk about not being able to be accurate when you're scrolling with this here. As you can see here, I have no problems on the low resolution being accurate. I would say if you have a problem with your accuracy, you need to turn it from the high DPI to the low DPI, and it works. It's got the front and back on here, which is very clicky, and I've used front and back. It's very great. I think it feels very comfortable. The right mouse on the bottom requires a lot more force, I think, than I guess it's the same. There's a Huge clicky noise. And as far as the right mouse button key, I don't. Let me see here. We have 3 function keys right here, and the top function key in Linux here, the topmost function key is your left mouse button, and that's this top one right here. And then we have a right click key, and that's right here, and I think that's comfortable. Honestly, on the Huge, I had a hard time because I expected the outside one. When I first started using the Huge, I wanted to use the far outside right button to mouse click. Instead, it's the one underneath it. Now I've become acclimatized to this ball, and it's okay now. It's okay. Solaris, go do your work.
Why?
And Juan, help me out with Solaris. Why do this video? The button feels, the right click button on the Deft feels to me much more, at first use, it feels much more natural like than it first felt on the Huge. Took some getting used to. But I just use this and it feels cool. There's no other buttons to click on the right side, whereas on the Huge there's actually 2 buttons on the right side, 2 on the left, and on this one you've got 1 button on the right side, 3 on the left, and then the thumb button down here by the scroll wheel, that also works, right? So you have 2 right clicks, and it might be worth noticing on the Huge itself, you don't have the 2 right clicks, and those 2 function buttons are not working in Linux, which I use. So when I'm walking around in the classroom, I'm going to walk around and try to use a scroll ball, and honestly, it feels a little bit tougher. If I walk around in this, I could conspicuously hold it and scroll my displays and my presentations. If I walk around in this one, it's not that easy to do. I will try it with this one. I'll give it a go and see if I could use this to teach or not. The big deal will be with the reception. We'll work in the back of the classrooms. Can I walk around really easy and get to use this really easy like I can with the MX Anywhere? So I'll try this, but I'll probably end up going back to this. But on the subway and small locations, this is quite comfortable. Don't feel like you're at a loss if you get this one instead of the Huge. The Huge is great, especially when you're sitting down flat. But I actually, it's good to change up a little bit. Personally, I don't own a thumb ball, so I can't say anything about that. But I think I would much prefer a finger ball than a thumb ball. But after I have these, if they had the the scroll wheel with the Logic MS Mini Aura has, that would be so awesome. That's my biggest complaint on these. But it's a you know, it's a hard complaint. I really love using these both. You know, my wife and my kids sometimes say, "Oh, the Huge is better because it's a bigger ball," but honestly, it's not that bad. The small one is not that bad. I'm going to use them both, and I'll give them to my wife and kids to use 2 of them as they want. When I'm travel outside, I'll definitely have both these in my bag. You can't really use the mouse on the subway very good. In a small situation, this is better. In a big situation, this is better. But this is not bad. You know, I wouldn't feel it a huge loss if I had this instead of the Huge. But the Huge is great. They're 2 unique animals. So anyways, this is the Elecom Deft, and I highly recommend it. And I'll try to do an updated review on it when I get to use it a lot. And I bought it here in China. I bought it off of JD and JD.com. And anyways, come check out my channel sometimes. We got bike reviews and other stuff, and I still got to do a review of my backpack and some other things. But thanks for watching, and talk to you guys later. Bye bye.